I am very excited to be here. Actually, this is our first time in the AnyLogic Conference as a presenter. So this is a great honor for us. Thank you for the opportunity. And I hope that is not the last one. So my name is Yossi Benago from Logico Consulting. At Logico, we are specialized in the development of digital twin, optimize processes such as operation, supply chain, production, etc. And this case study that we will present to you is particularly special because this is a result of a very successful collaboration with OpFlow company. Dov, please, you can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Yossi. So my name is Dov. I'm with 25 years of experience in supply chain and operation. OpFlow is a consulting firm specialized in supply chain and operation. Yossi, can you move to the next slide?
Yes.
One more. So just a short introduction to the cell therapy. The principle of cell therapy is quite simple. You replace a damaged cell with an healthy cell that can fight the disease. It's a fast-growing market, and in 27, it should achieve $48 billion, but it's a very young market with only 23 products approved by the FDA. However, 900 products are currently in development in different phases. The supply chain of the product starts with a cord blood bank, where you have a cord blood unit transfer to the manufacturing, and then it goes through the patient vein directly. So you'll see if you can move to the next slide. Next. I will start with our customer. They built an amazing facility, and they were interested to validate and understand better the site capacity to be prepared for their launch. Our first step was to analyze, to learn, and to better understand the cell therapy manufacturing challenges. First, we understand that it's a personalized supply chain. One batch is one product for one patient, which is very different for everything else we know in the industry, and especially in the life science industry. Now coming to the challenge, it's a life and death drug. So if you are late, it could endanger the life of the patient. It's yes, an advanced therapy, but it's a very manual technology. There is a high demand volatility, and you are allocating slots to a patient. If you need to reschedule or the starting material is late, the slot is gone and you are losing capacity. So we had to integrate the slot management in our model. There is a high raw material variability. You can have, for the same raw material, one batch with 3 sublots and another batch with 10 sublots. So we started to investigate and to analyze the distribution of the raw material to better understand the behavior of the raw material and the capacity that we need to take into account. It's a make-to-order environment with 0 finished good inventory, so no margin. And we have a very short lead time end-to-end, which should be below 28 days. You see? Our second step was to define the goal function, and we define it as maximizing the clean room utilization. And along the time, we defined the research question. We had 6 research questions, and thanks to the simulation, we were able to answer all of these questions. Yossi?
Okay. So why a digital twin and why to use AnyLogic? So now when we understand the scope of the problem, so why to choose to implement the solution with digital twin and with AnyLogic tools. So the main reason to use simulation and digital twin is that is not possible. It is not possible to develop an analytical model for our problem. Not even a good approach of analytical approximation, and this is due to several reasons. Starting with the demand that behave is very stochastic variation, and all the production processes benefit from stochasticity. Also because of the quality issue, but also because in the end it is a biological process, and we don't have full control over him. The second reason is, of course, time-dependent processes. So we use simulation for this. And the last reason is the dependency between different variables. One variables that defined in the one layer in the simulation will affect another variable in a different layer in the model. Even if not in the first cycle, but in the next one or the next one, little bit like a bullwhip effect supply chain in the supply chain. So why to use simulation for this solution? There are actually many reasons to use AnyLogic, but I mention the most significant for our case. First of all, for the ability to develop a simulation with autonomous entity. In our model, we use both the agent-based modeling method and also the discrete event method. Also for the possibility to customize and to define very complex processes, and we have a lot of like this in our model. And for this, we use the power of Java programming to create and customize our libraries. Of course, is very easy also to optimize the model with AnyLogic. So for this case, we use goal programming, and we created our optimization experiment. And in the last is for the flexibility of the user interface. And in this model, we use very helpful 3D visualization and KPIs, key performance indicators, dashboards. Okay, so now in the real stuff and a little bit more drill down. So our processes begin with patients that have a request to the blood bank to find for him matching CBU. CBU is cordon blood unit. For us is like raw material, okay, in the process. After that, the bank is locating the appropriate batch of the CBU. So the batch is the CBU will send to the production site. It is received in the side by logistics and by quality teams. We have registration processes and quality processes, etc. And the CBU is immediately goes into storage in liquid nitrogen in the freezer. And before we starting the production, so the planner should ensure that he has all the resources required for the entire production process from the first day, so we call it day 0, to the harvest. This is the last production day. It is impossible to hold the biological process in the middle of the production for a week or something. This is impossible. So therefore, it is required to find a free production slot, and a very complex logic in the model to find the free production slot. And then we have the several weeks of production, so process 2 and process 3. And in the last, we have the harvest. This is the last day of production. After the harvest, the product is actually going to the frozen and prepared for the shipping to get to the hospital on time, we hope, and for the transplant into the patients. Okay, so sorry. Okay. So what is our structure look like? So we have actually the physical asset. So we start from, of course, from this, and we have the engineering side. So sorry, we have relevant parameters that we're doing to use for the simulation, for the digital twin. I don't go through all of them, but I will explain some of them. On the engineering side, we have very important parameters such as the maintenance of the machine and the clean room. There are many processes that are done before starting a process like media fill. We need to hold all the order that we have in the back order, and we need to clean all the clean room and the incubator. So this is a very complicated processes, and all this need to be inside the digital twin. And as a parameter, we have the operation. So in the operation, we have the basic parameter like quantity of manpower segmentation, because not any manpower can work in any space in the factory, etc. We have, of course, processes. On the planning side, we have the demand distribution with all the noise of the randomness of the real life orders that are cancelled after the production process was started because many reasons, and the effect of this on the production plan and the next free slot. And we have the quality side, the effect of bad raw material on the production reject, etc., and which re-effect back on the production slot like a loop. All this goes into the digital twin, and the output of the twin is actually to answer the research questions that we have. So we will know how many batch we can do with given clean rooms, how many incubators we need in each rooms, the utilization of the room and of the manpower. We know also the root cause of the bottleneck, because inside the simulation we can do the root cause analysis to understand what is the first reason that is start the waterfall of all the reason. And finally, we take all the insight and we will implement them in the physical asset, and we can repeat this process as many times we want, and to get more and more efficient process. So after all this introduction, let's get the impression of the simulation. Okay. So the customer basically receive a standalone version and he can change parameter and adjust personal distribution also. And when he runs the simulation, the process actually starts here. The arrival of all the raw material and the CPU also come from this side. We have a lot of operational and auditing process to do with the material. In the next area, in this area, the manpower that come to work goes from unclear area to completely sterile area after wearing a mask, a glove for hand, etc. And all the work is done in the clean room with under wood and some material, and of course inside the incubator. And one issue is very complicated in this simulation, that in each room the work is done on only one batch at any given moment. So we can maybe we have a capacity to come with more manpower, but I can use the room for different batch simultaneously. And we have also a dashboard of all the KPIs that the customer is need to understand from the visualization of the distributions, also for production, root cause, and the resource. And also you can see the logics and how we created this in the simulation, all the libraries, all the functions, agent, etc. Okay, so after we use this simulation, so we start optimization multi-step methodology. Our way to achieve optimization was to start looking for the optimum for the first bottleneck, like in the goal programming. We can all this to lock the parameter as a constant and to move to the next bottleneck, and like this we have multi-steps, and the model get more robustness.
Okay, I will take it from here. So what is the contribution of the project to the customer? Yossi, can you go to the next slide? So first, the customer was satisfied with the project and its contribution. For the first time, they had a clear visualization of a live facility, and from some experience, how will be the presentation.
We don't see. We don't hear you. We don't hear you.
Can you?
The sound is.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So the presentation was shared with the board of the company. The bottom line is that we prove that the capacity can be higher by 30% from what they have expected. And 30% more capacity is 30% more sales. 30% more sales is much more profit for the company. So the project has a huge impact on the expectation of the company for their revenue. They had the opportunity to better prepare themselves because we anticipated a lot of issues. We had to solve all the planning problem ahead that no one was considering and discussing about. They order the equipment to open the bottleneck. And another major contribution is that the document that we prepare from the digital twin, plus an FMEA that we perform, was submitted as part of the biologic license application to the FDA to convince the FDA of the practical capacity of the site. Some takeaways from our experience in this project: we had a very, very intensive model verification and data validation. We go back and forth, we check the log, we check the results, and we were very diligent to ensure that we are meeting as much as possible the reality in our model. Really to have a model that can create value for the customer. It's a huge opportunity to help. Another important takeaway is that we modify during the process, during the project, our research question, as we better understand the processes, as we better understand the accurate need of the customer. So we need always to maintain flexibility and the adaptability of our model to adjust to the customer need. No, Yossi, just model expansion, I think the possibilities are infinite. But if you ask me, the next step will be to build a model that includes the supply chain end-to-end. So that includes the supply chain end-to-end. If you have any question, we are here to answer and to support you. I can see question in the chat.
Yes.
Yossi, would you like to take the first question?
I don't see in the chat. 1 second. How long did the example project take?
I think you can take the 2 questions.
Dov, you can read for me the question, please?
How long did the example project take, and what did you find was the most challenging aspect? Data gathering, PFD flows, connecting the processes.
So I think the most important and also interesting in this project is to understand that in the end, Dov and me, we are not from the field of the professional biological. So we come from the side of the process too. So to understand that what we learn on the process, this is the real process. In the big factory, you can learn one process from one person, but he teach you the process from our perspective, and another one he can learn the process from another perspective. And in the end, we need to get all the information and to build to create one digital twin, as is exactly a twin, actually a twin of the reality. So I think this is the best stage in the project, the first step, the learning. And our solution with this is to take all the information and to build a specification document with all the assumption, all the parameters, all the KPIs, what is the question we need to answer, and to approve this document to the customer.
Great. It took us something like 3 months, but I have to say that we spent some night to complete the project on time. It was very urgent for the customer. So it's achievable in 3 months, but it was a huge effort from our hand. The second question, Yossi, is also for you, is what were the main challenges you faced with respect to simulation. Now you need to share your magic.
Yes. I think they combine all the biological processes that we have to a digital processes, and to translate this to a logic in the AnyLogic, and to use different library that we create to understood that we have the real simulation and the real process. I think this is the main challenges in this simulation.
Okay. The last question, and I will take it, is from Luis. Are there actual specific requirements from the stakeholders for model expansion? So the answer is yes. And they ask us to expand the model for the quality operation and for the quality control laboratory. But as a matter of fairness to our customer, we did it with an analytical model because it was more appropriate and much more cost effective for the customer. So they were ready to continue with the simulation, but we went to the cheaper and most effective solution, which brought a reliable result in such case. Any other question? No. So thank you for this huge opportunity, and it was a pleasure to share with all of you this amazing project.
Oh yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a really interesting topic in terms of like simulation applications. And yeah.